you know how the season goes, lad. I mean, it's just the focus was we needed to get that win. You know, you want to be relevant late in the year. Obviously, you know, it's good to win this time of year and be in it. But we got to get back to work and get ready for Chicago.
Inside the Nest, an Atlanta Falcons audio experience. Here is your host, Craig Green.
Touchdown, Atlanta!
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the bins, Santa brought sacks to Calais and friends. 6 sacks in total, and oh, what a sight to see the Dirty Bird dance on Christmas Eve night. Welcome inside the Nest. I'm your host, Craig Green. Let's get into it. So let's give credit to AtlantaFalcons.com for the sound of head coach Arthur Smith's initial takes after the Falcons defeated the Indianapolis Colts 29-10 in a pretty easy fashion. The Colts scored a touchdown early on in their opening drive. The Falcons pretty much shut them down from that moment on, outscoring Indianapolis 29-3 en route to a 19-point victory. Let's take a look at injuries for this contest. Caleb McGarry was the only notable player to miss this game, which is his second straight after injuring his ankle a couple of weeks ago. Arthur Smith did say it wasn't serious enough for IR, but McGarry may need a couple of weeks to get it together. So the Falcons had an easy time of it against the Indianapolis Colts. No one really saw that result coming based on the result the week before in Charlotte in the rain at Bank of America Stadium. The Falcons return home to Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Christmas Eve and wipe out the Indianapolis Colts, who were previously rolling, had won 4 of their past 5 games by a score of 29-10. So let's recap the stats. Take a look at first downs first. 23-10. First downs 23-20 Atlanta. Total plays run 68-64 Indianapolis. Total yards 406 to 262 Atlanta. Yards per play 6.3 to 3.9 Atlanta. Passing yards 229 to 170 in favor of Atlanta. Rushing yards 177 to 92 Atlanta. Third down efficiency 5 of 14 to 5 of 13. We'll give that in favor of Atlanta since they had one less opportunity. Penalties, even for the most part. 4 penalties for 29 for Indianapolis, 4 for 35 for Atlanta. Turnovers. Falcons win the turnover battle. You did not hear that incorrectly. 1-0 in favor of Atlanta. Time of possession, 30-36 to 29-24 in favor of the Colts. So individual stats. Let's go to the box score. Falcons led in the passing attack by Taylor Heinecke, stepping in for Desmond Ridder. 23 of 33, 229 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, was sacked 1 time for no gain. Rushing attack led by Bijan Robinson, 12 carries, 72 yards. Tyler Algier, 9 carries, 69 yards. Cordero Patterson, 7 for 26, and Heinecke chipped in 2 for 10, totaling 30 carries for 177 yards. A rushing touchdown, the long run, 32 yards by Robinson. Receiving, also led by Bijan Robinson, 7 catches, 50 yards on 10 targets. So Robinson in total, 19 touches, 122 yards from scrimmage. Kyle Pitts, 3 catches, 49 yards, and a touchdown. Drake London, 3 catches, 39 yards. Jonnu Smith, 4 for 32. Tyler Algier, 1 for 19. Scotty Miller caught a pass for 15 yards. Van Jefferson caught a pass for 15 yards. Cordero Patterson, 2 receptions, 7 yards. And Kadero Hodge caught 1 for 5. Defensively, Falcons led by Caden Ellis, 10 tackles, 5 solo, recorded a sack. Falcons again had 6 sacks on the day. Caden Ellis, 3 tackles for loss out of the 8 the Falcons had on the afternoon. Nate Landman, 9 tackles, 7 solos, another star of this game. Jesse Bates, 6 tackles, 4 solo, and an interception. All in all, again, the Falcons, 6 sacks in the game. Those were recorded by Ellis, Richie Grant with a safety sack. Zach Harrison had 2 sacks. Calais Campbell, 1.5. And Arnold Ebiketie also had a half a sack that he split with Campbell. And again, Jesse Bates, his 6th interception of the season. Kicking department, Younghoe Koo, 5 of 5. His long field field goal on the day, 47 yards, converted 2 extra points. He outscored the Colts by himself 17-10. And Bradley Pinion came out, punted 3 times, 2 of those inside the 20, had a long of 51 yards. And take a look at the scoring summary for this game. Let's go over it pretty quickly. So again, we talked about the Colts drawing first blood. Colts came out first, had a 1-yard touchdown run after a drive of 13 plays, 75 yards in 5 minutes and 36 seconds. Taylor runs it in. Matt Gay converts the extra point. 7-0 Indianapolis. Falcons respond with a 5-play, 75-yard drive that only took 1 minute and 42 seconds as Kyle Pitts was in the end zone, 24 yards from Taylor Heinecke. Younghoe Koo converts the extra point. We are level at 7 in the first. Second quarter, all Falcons, 2 field goals from Younghoe Koo. The first one with 3:23 to go in the half, 14 plays, 82 yards, 6 minutes, 13 seconds taken off the clock. And then Koo again after an 8-play, 46-yard drive that netted 1 minute, 41 seconds. Falcons go into the half leading 13-7 in a fairly tight ball game. Third quarter and beyond dominated by Atlanta. In the third quarter, with 11:13 to go on the clock, Tyler Algier scampers in down the sideline, 31 yards to the house after an 8-play, 75-yard drive that took 3 minutes and 47 seconds off the clock. So they score on their first possession of the first half and their first possession of the second half. And they did what they needed to do, which was punch it into the end zone for 6. Younghoe Koo kicks the extra point. At this point now with 11:13 to go in the third quarter, it is 20-7 Atlanta. Matt Gay responds with a field goal from 33 yards out after a 12-play, 60-yard drive that netted 6 minutes, 50 seconds for the Colts. Indianapolis draws back within 10 at 20-10. Fourth quarter again, it was Koo all over again, 3 more field goals. First one from 41 yards out, second one from 35 yards, third one from 25 yards. Falcons win 29-10 at home in front of the fans on Christmas Eve. Total attendance for this game listed, paid attendance 69,221. It's 92% capacity. Falcons covered the spread. They were 2.5-point favorites, and the over-under was 44.5. So if you took the under, you're a winner. If you took the Falcons to cover, guess what? You got the parlay. So now let's take a look at the good from this game. Younghoe Koo was money today, 5 for 5 on field goals and hit his 2 extra point attempts. He scored 17 of the Falcons' 29 points. When Atlanta stalled out offensively, Koo was there to pick up the pieces and keep the scoreboard numbers turning. The defense was another part of the good. Their defense had their best game of the season, registering 6 sacks and an interception on a crucial drive to keep the Colts out of reach. They did their job fantastically. I mean, again, 5 of 14 on third down. Success rate for the Colts under 33%. You'll take that any day of the week. Another part of the good to me, I thought Taylor Heinecke did a nice job. He protected the ball. He took what the Colts defense gave him, and he did not make the critical errors that plagued the Falcons several times this year. He also distributed the ball nicely, I thought. 9 different receivers caught at least 1 pass. And also the other things I thought were part of the good, the running backs and the rush attack overall, they had a day. 30 carries, 177 yards for an average of nearly 6 yards a pop. That is a recipe for winning football. Now, let's talk about the bad. Not a lot this game, but to me, it was pretty glaring. The first part of the bad, red zone efficiency. The reason why Younghoe Koo kicked 5 field goals in the first place is because Atlanta was 0 for 3 in the red zone. When you're inside the opponent's 20, you have got to punch it in for 6. That's usually the difference between winning and losing in ball games where possessions are at a premium. So the other part of the bad, to me, third down efficiency. The Falcons were held to just 5 for 13 on third down, which I think went unnoticed, along with the 0 for in the red zone because they were rolling in every other aspect of the game, especially defensively. Third down and red zone are going to be really important to win the next 2 games and have a shot at the postseason. All right, so what's next for the Falcons? A trip to Chicago, Soldier Field on New Year's Eve against Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. The Bears coming into the contest with 6 wins and 8 losses, looking to get themselves into the playoff picture somehow, some way, squeeze their way into a wild card spot. They're led, of course, at quarterback by Justin Fields, at a running back by Khalil Herbert and Deontay Foreman, the latter of which may or may not play this weekend. Also led at the wide receiver position by DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, who is also injured, may not see him on Sunday. And also led by Cole Kmet at tight end, very talented player. Another guy banged up right now, very iffy if he's going to step on the field for Chicago against the Falcons. But the Falcons need this game. They have to have it. They want to stay in the wild card race and also want to stay afloat in the NFC South race. This is the game they need to win. It's a game they probably should win. I know defensively Chicago has revamped themselves with the acquisition of Montez Sweat via trade from the Washington Commanders, but he's one guy. You know, if you can get him blocked and you can execute, you'll have a really good chance of winning this game. Got to protect the football. Got to do all the things you did against Indianapolis and some of the things you didn't do, which was finish in the red zone. I think if you do that, Falcons will like the results. Also, another result that is somewhat impacting the Falcons will be the game in Tampa Bay between the Saints and the Buccaneers. Now, if the Buccaneers win that game, they will win the NFC South division for themselves, and the Falcons will be eliminated from NFC South play. However, if the Buccaneers lose, then it can set up a winner-take-all next week in New Orleans between the Falcons and Saints. Also dependent on the result in Charlotte between the Buccaneers and the Panthers. Now, if the Panthers were to upset the Buccaneers, that would put the Falcons or the Saints in the driver's seat to steal the NFC South crown for themselves and host a playoff game, probably going to be against either the Dallas Cowboys or the Philadelphia Eagles. Good luck with that. But, of course, we will see how everything unfolds this Sunday, 1 o'clock, from Soldier Field in the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois. All right, folks, thanks again for joining me for this Atlanta Falcons audio experience. Would love to invite you, as we always do, to follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, X, Snapchat, YouTube, and Threads at Craig G Sports. Please like, subscribe, download, and then share this podcast with any Falcons fans you know. We'll be back very, very soon with the next episode recapping the Chicago Bears game. So, for everybody out there listening, if you celebrate Christmas, would like to say Merry Christmas to you. Hope you've been good. Leave Santa some snacks on the counter. And make sure you get to bed on time so you can hear the sleigh bells as you drift off to sleep. So thanks again, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you after the Bears game. This is your guy, CG. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy New Year. Sayonara. And buenos noches.
And here is Minshew on a drop. He'll be forced up in the pocket, going to take the shot for Pierce, and who else has picked it but Jesse Bates? Here's Heinecke looking left, going to lob for the end zone. Pitts! Touchdown, Atlanta! Algier going to run to the right. Fisk trying to help him, squeezes it. Algier down the far side. Touchdown, Atlanta! You know what the old adage is, right? You draw a line here and a line here, and you run the play in the alley.